Hello and welcome to another Watcher of Realms video, and in this video we will be doing some more Echoes of WoW as we have had a new one unlocked. This time it is for Northerners and Infernal, as you can see over the right hand side. You can still do the previous ones instead if you actually want to. You know, you can still do these ones. They're open for the entire length of the event, and in 2 days the next one will open. Now the next one's interesting because the only base faction that isn't used so far is Esotericist, and unless they reuse some of the other factions that they've already used, they might either use Essos by themselves or maybe Chaotic and Arbiters. We'll have to wait and see there. But I'll go into the stage. I have hit the top score, and I did do it with this team here. I think you could probably use someone like Estrid to extremely good standard. Because Estrid obviously has really good AoE damage. If you have her A5, even better. I think she gets increased range and so on and so forth if you have her, I think, at A1. So really good if you have her. Basically, it's just AoE damage. That's basically what you want to go for. And that's primarily what I've gone for. And I will say, it's funny because the previous Echoes of WoW, the issue was the waves, taking down the waves. This team has no problem with the waves. It has a problem with the tails at the beginning. You kind of have to mess around quite a bit to take down those tails, unfortunately. But we'll get into it, and I'll show you how I managed to get the top score. So to start things off, we'll do the same thing we did on some of the previous ones. I like to put down Hex, and we also put down any melee character, basically, just to get some damage down, and we will auto ult. Like I say, the beginning is extremely slow. Taking this boss down, not so much, but the waves are very slow to get onto. Okay, so we can now place other characters, and you'll see what I'm talking about. These pillars will remove, and to destroy these two, I obviously have to use 2 characters, and hopefully they'll take them out reasonably quickly. There we go. And then we are back. They don't have many like range characters in this faction, unfortunately. So we'll just put down Ardea now. We'll also put down effectively our tank. This could be anybody. If you've got basically any of the Lords for Northerners sitting in front of either Ardea or potentially you could have Estrid here. Estrid would probably hold this by herself. It's quite a lot like Gear Dungeon 2 left side lane. Pretty much having a tank in front of Estrid and some of the teams like Carnelian teams. It would work very similar. We do want to sell him now. Selling him isn't like super important. And this is where it becomes a little bit fidgety. We have to take down these extras, as you're going to see. And it's just, like I say, it's just a little fidgety. We have to sell characters. They're not the best at maybe taking down the tails. And once we've done that, the boss comes back. And I don't know necessarily if you actually have to take down the tails. Like, the boss does massive AoE damage. Maybe the boss doesn't do big AoE damage if you don't take down the pillars. I haven't really tested it, but at this point, I just place the characters in as I need to. Sometimes people can sneak through, as we have not got any tanks. We need as much damage output as possible, ideally. And that is pretty much my setup here. And like I said, maybe you could put down Maul. Maul would actually be pretty good at this. The freezes would be good. And pretty much just like the other Echoes of WoW, if you hit 1 million by 2 minutes left, I found you're pretty much on course, just about for the 1.5. And like I said, this team seems to be much better at wave clear, just because there are a lot more like AoE characters. At least I found when I did it before. I could get unlucky and not hit 1.5 this time. But I did just auto last time. I think there was a time where Ardea nearly did die. Like you can see, she does self-nuke which can be problematic. See, there we go. I'm just over 1 million, and it was about the minute mark, I guess, when we would have got there. So it could be touch and go whether we actually get 1.5, but I think if you have a couple of goes at it, you should be all right. And as long as you're hitting one of the top 2 rewards, you should be okay. The issue is, have you got enough AoE ground units? If you only have Estrid, no Ardea, no Lubu, and no Nezza, it's a big problem, honestly. You need so much AoE for this. And Nezza obviously is a godsend because it can be used on every single playthrough, regardless of the factions. So we need just less than 100k with 30 seconds left. And we will just keep the auto going. 4k. I've been in this position a couple of times where I'm like, can I get that last 4k? And we didn't. So obviously I'd replay this to get the last 4k, but we'll see my top score, which I think was 1560, because I have claimed all the rewards already, as you can see. And, well, 1533. There we go. So I would say this one was the toughest for me. Watchers and Cultists and Nightmare was pretty straightforward all round. This one was straightforward on the wave, but before the wave it was just a little bit annoying, and I think it's very problematic, the character selections that you really have here. I mean, Shamir wouldn't be a bad pick, honestly. His ult is heavy AoE. You just don't want to be picking single target characters. Like Setram might be good at destroying the tails, and maybe the boss, like maybe if you want to replace him with Hex. But yeah, AoE is a must. There's Maul down here, and there's not many other epics, unfortunately. Estrid, that's pretty much it. If you've got Rourke, I think he has maybe some AoE in his kit, and he's the Lords. But yeah, not too many options. If you have any ideas on kind of what team you can set up for this, do let me know. Hopefully this has been helpful. In terms of the gear, like I say in previous videos, just use your best gear. Your best attacking gear on the actual damage dealers. It is a bit problematic when it comes to someone like Fercy. I didn't have him in Invigoration because he would invigorate Hex off the bat, and then I'd be selling Hex anyway, so it would be wasted Invigoration. So I went to boost his HP and attack. His attack is for heals, and he's not a great healer, so he needs attack as much as possible. And obviously that also boosts his inspiration to give a damage buff. The bottom lane for me was the weaker of the lanes for sure. It relied heavily on Ardea. But the top lane, like I said, Nezza is just such a strong character in general, but also with the wheels, such a strong character, but just because he can be used on every single one. If he can be used on every single mission, it is a bit more straightforward. Give me your ideas on what potentially could come from the gold realm. I'm guessing it's going to be Essos, but what else could it be? If it's just going to be Essos by itself. Maybe it's going to be I think potentially it could be Esso and Nightmare. Nightmare will get you second time. But we'll have to wait and see. But that's it for this little video, guys. Hopefully, like I say, it was useful for you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.